the like last thing I did when that guy was like, well, why isn't Biden ever investigated? I was like, you understand, Biden has been investigated for mishandling classified documents. Biden has been investigated for years about the Hunter Biden shit. The House Republican Oversight Committee or whatever is constantly like subpoenaing Biden, and all they have is that one like check that's a $2,000 loan repayment or whatever. The reason I do it is because they're like, oh, all these charges are fake or whatever, and I'm like, you acknowledge that Eastman literally said he was going to break the law, right? And I just want them to concede that. Even if we literally have the email where he said it, and they won't read it at all. Trump pardoned 5 separate people who were either charged or convicted of like interfering with the Mueller report and like obstructing justice on behalf of Trump, and it's just like, absolutely.
It's like Eastman's text about, can I get added to the pardon list?
Yeah. If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe to help with the algorithm, and consider sending a donation through YouTube Super Thanks to directly support the channel, and I'll make sure to reply.
Well, don't you know that the tariffs are actually just like leveraging power? That like he's just like threatening tariffs, and it's just gonna make prices go down. Yep. Actually.
Yeah, he's just leveraging them. It's not what he says, and it's not what the platform says, but yeah, I bet.
How do you stay sane talking to these people?
I don't. There's some people that are literally insane in these panels. Like have you talked to Glenn before? I'm assuming you've talked to Glenn Lawrence before, right?
What? No, I'm unfamiliar with that person.
No, there's a conservative called Glenn Lawrence who's on these panels a lot. Like, I don't think he can read. We've had it's so insane to me that there's so many people where I'll be like, you guys know that Eastman said this plan broke the law, right? Like Eastman literally said, Eastman wrote down, this plan violates the Electoral Count Act. And
no, that plan said that the Electoral Count Act was unconstitutional, and the Supreme Court would probably rule 0-7 against it.
Well, Eastman said that this broke the Electoral Count Act. He was okay with breaking it because he thought it was unconstitutional. He thought it would be fine if they broke it because it would just be ruled unconstitutional. But he literally wrote down, I want you to consider violating the Electoral Count Act.
Yeah, I mean,
it's wild.
Hey, listen, to be fair,
they won't concede
if
to
we're
it.
being super charitable here, right? Like, if it is ruled unconstitutional, it would technically be constitutional to do that.
Yeah, but you're correct. But I will. The thing I'll mention is that there's no good reason to believe it's unconstitutional. Eastman conceded in 1877 it was ruled constitutional. Eastman conceded that he would lose 9-0 in the Supreme Court, and literally just days before January 6th, the Wisconsin Voters v. Pence Alliance, or the Wisconsin Voters Alliance versus Pence lawsuit deemed the Electoral Count constitutional. But the reason I do it is because they're like, oh, all these charges are fake or whatever, and I'm like, you acknowledge that Eastman literally said he was going to break the law, right? And I just want them to concede that, even if we literally have the email where he said it, and they won't read it at all. Also, Glenn has this completely insane position that no court has called January 6th an insurrection, and I will literally read to him the opinion of the Colorado Supreme Court, which says January 6th was an insurrection, and he just says no, nuh-uh. It's not even that like, because the Supreme Court kind of overturned that. They didn't actually overturn they didn't rule on whether it was an insurrection. They just said Colorado doesn't have the authority to enforce it. But it's totally insane. He can't read. So there's some people I don't say sane, but
yeah. So that's the thing. It's like if you encounter information that like conflicts with your like worldview, like there's only 2 paths. You can either change your mind or change the facts, and like I don't know, most people choose the latter for sure. Like,
it's wild.
I don't know if we can trust that. Actually, it's like, okay. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like such a simple. It's just like such a simple thing where it's like if someone to me makes a specific claim, and then like even if I disagree with it at first, if you literally show me like the evidence, like the only thing that could ever beyond a reasonable doubt prove it, like I would just be like, okay, sure, I concede, but like they won't do it. It's insane. I don't get it. But
right, I don't know. Well, I mean, like if any sort of proof of like mens rea, like is basically mind reading.
It's how do you determine Trump's intent? How do you know he would be like? Just,
First degree murder is not a real charge in court. That just doesn't exist.
But it doesn't even.
We can't prove that.
And again, they would never ever hold the same standard to Kamala Harris if she tried anything like remotely similar.
Yeah, no.
But it's
I mean, yeah, no. That's been my my rhetoric, because it's my best cope with I don't know, whatever. It's harder to be a smug asshole on the internet when you take an L that big. Like first Republican to win the popular vote in a while. Like oof. But man, I just I go on there and I just am like Kamala. Maybe the election doesn't seem to be turning out how I want it, but I've been reading this thing called the Eastman Memos, I think Democrats still have a path to victory.
I think well, actually, if we have two paths to victory, okay, one, we go the Eastman Memo route. Two, the Supreme Court ruled that Section 3 of the 14th Amendment is not self-executing, but we could still pass a law, defining what an insurrection is, and then, just say Trump committed insurrection. That's not going to happen, but technically we could. We are legally entitled to that, okay? But
hey, also, like, theoretically, Biden could pardon every criminal tomorrow. And, Republicans can experience what it's like to have to take over, like, a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
That was left to you by the last president. Maybe that I was.
I can't wait till the J6ers are pardoned, man. I can't wait. It's gonna be so.
Yeah. Well, only the innocent ones, right?
Oh yeah.
Said only the innocent ones, man.
Yeah, because they're all on fake charges there.
Well, I mean, like, even if you broke a window after someone was already in there, like, we're the party of law and order. So, like, if you walk by somewhere and the window's already broken in, you basically can just like go in, right? Like, are you even really breaking any laws or violating anything? That's like a guided tour if you climb in through a broken window that someone else broke.
It's insane. There's insane standards there. And then like I don't know if you were watching like the like last thing I did when that guy was like, well, why isn't Biden ever investigated? I was like, you understand, Biden has been investigated for mishandling classified documents. Biden has been investigated for years about the Hunter Biden shit. The House Republican Oversight Committee or whatever is constantly like subpoenaing Biden, and all they have is that one like check that's a $2,000 loan repayment or whatever.
Right.
And
Bro, Hunter Biden is going to go to jail for like lying on a gun form, which is never ever been prosecuted for in the history of the United States. Like, are you kidding me? Just like, yeah, I said I wasn't doing drugs.
Thanks
and then,
so much for sub. I appreciate
pictures
it.
got leaked that like showed that wasn't true. So therefore, like, I committed a gun crime. Are you out of your fucking mind?
I know.
Like, Biden is a saint for like letting him like get charged.
Yeah, and Biden. I mean, Biden still technically has time to pardon Hunter Biden, but he probably won't even pardon Hunter Biden, his own fucking son.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, Trump pardoned 5 separate people who were either charged or convicted of like interfering with the Mueller report and like obstructing justice on behalf of Trump, and it's just like absolutely.
It's like Eastman's text about, can I get added to the pardon list?
Yeah. It's like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Oh my god.
Yeah, both sides. Like one side makes mistakes, and the other side lies.
Yeah, I know. And this is what
all the time.
This was like part of my final point. I obviously think there's more threats to a Trump presidency than just this, but like the fact that I think there were like 6 co-conspirators for the federal January 6th stuff. Like the fact that Jeffrey Clark and like Eastman probably will never stand trial in a federal courtroom. I think Eastman's charged in like Arizona as well, and some of them are charged in a Georgia RICO case as well. They're probably never going to see federal charges, and that's like a tragedy for fucking rule of law. That's horrible. Like that's yeah.
I mean, bro. Also, like Sotomayor and the other one like might retire or like die. Like on the bench,
Sotomayor
and Thomas and Alito might retire, and we might have a fucking
dude. Sotomayor and Kagan should probably just retire now. Okay, the two like liberal justices that are somewhat old should probably just bite the bullet and retire now, and hope that.
Well, I mean, what, to get chewed up in the fucking Senate, like just pass on to the next. I mean, it doesn't matter. Again, like I think more important than them retiring is Biden pardoning everybody, ever.
Exactly, except for the J6ers, keep them there.
Only the J6ers. Enrico Tarrio is going to be in his own, or no, he's going to be shuffled between like all 18 federal prisons. Yeah,
it's wild. It's wild, and I don't know. It's insane. It's totally unreasonable standards for that. Hillary was investigated twice by the FBI, right, for her email shit, and like
Right.
Um,
And no charges recommended. Like Trump told his DOJ to like kill the investigate. So many.
Thank you,
Like,
Economy. I
dude, bro,
appreciate it.
When Pence is out on the news saying he wanted me to do something that was super not okay,
I
and
know.
like
Yeah.
that's unadmissible in court. Like, are you out of your? Oh
I know.
God,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah. 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 It's wild.
I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I guess do you think that Harris had a chance at all? Like I feel like COVID hit everyone really bad, so they were gonna vote against whoever was in power then, and like it, no one, most people are not very smart and like are like,
I
oh,
mean,
the
it
economy bad, and
it's
so they
so hard
were
to
vote against that person.
it's so hard to say in hindsight is because like we know the like how bad she fucking lost. I wouldn't say no
Right.
chance. I think somehow I think well, like a lot of people inciting, oh, she probably did a bad job with like alternative media, not going on any podcast. I think she went on like one podcast, and then inflation just totally fucking doomed incumbent parties around the world. I think that's a big reason. The incumbent advantage seems to have been lost around the world, partially due to inflation. I think partially due to social media as well.
Right.
I don't know. I don't like honestly. Like, listen, okay. I love I love my Biden. Okay. I like it's so hard to know. It's so hard to know. I don't know. Like she literally did not outperform Biden in like any county, right? So
Yeah.
it's hard to, like I don't even know. Maybe Newsom would have done better. Maybe even like I don't know. I wasn't in support of like an open primary because I don't want the like major party contest. I didn't feel like that'd be good. But now that we've had this, like maybe it would have been good. I don't know. Maybe we just could have kept Biden. Okay, maybe Biden could have.
Well,
Maybe
yeah.
Biden could have done it. Maybe.
Right. Yeah. No, that's the quote that I keep saying is Biden would have won. Biden already beat him.
Biden would have, bro.
Biden would
Already
have
beat
won.
Trump. I know. Yeah.
Fucking Nancy Pelosi dog fucked us all. Uh, fucked us all real hard. I blame her actually,
Yeah, I know.
which is
Yeah.
still a woman. But yeah, I don't know. Like seeing the map for this one versus like the 2016 election, and like it's almost like beat for beat, and like,
Yeah. My chat does not
yeah,
agree
I
with
don't
the
know.
Biden would have won, but he beat Trump
Right, right.
before. He could do it. He can do it. He can pull through.
Yeah,
Didn't you see
yeah.
the speech today where his stutter is now gone right after? Like
Right, we finally figured out the right dose of amphetamines.
exactly. Yeah, they've been. Oh my God! It's But yeah, I really don't like that Jack Smith won't be able to continue his cases against them. There are other people in the Mar-a-Lago documents case as well that are being charged because they like obstructed justice on behalf of Trump.
Yeah, I
Now-
mean, they don't
Yeah.
care. I mean, that's all fake. You can indict a ham sandwich, which also means you can convict a ham sandwich.
Yeah,
and
exactly,
fuck
yep.
the federal like hit rate for.
I know it's like 99.6% or whatever. It's so dumb.
Right.
Yeah, but like
Right.
also like even like if I think that there's probable cause that like Giuliani tried to criminally overturn an election, I want him to see trial. I think it's not good for rule of law if he never sees trial because of Trump's election. Even if he went to that trial and like he got away because we couldn't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. I want that trial to happen, but now it'll never happen.
Yeah.
I'm really upset about that. I don't like and then it's also people are always like, oh, what's gonna be different with the second Trump presidency? He was a dictator before. And it's like, well, one, we can go to J6 stuff. Like he tried to overturn the election. But like two, obviously he has more loyalists in his cabinet now. Like clearly he wants to concentrate power in the executive branch. Like those arguments are like, oh, we have two other branches. It's like, well, he believes in unitary executive theory. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
Yeah. And like two of the liberal justices are about to die, and two of the conservative ones are about to
yeah,
retire,
yeah.
and like.
yeah, and he has
I don't know.
criminal immunity now. He's like explicit criminal immunity for any core constitutional acts. So, and presumptive immunity
Biden-
for any official act. And like, the Supreme Court is probably going to grant him presumptive immunity pretty broadly, especially because like the test for overcoming presumptive immunity is just like, does it pose a challenge to the executive branch's functioning or whatever? And it's like, well,
Right,
you can
right.
make that argument
Or-
pretty
yeah,
clearly
yeah,
for
yeah.
just about anything. So
Right. Yeah. Just like the energetic expression of the executive power, and it's like
yeah,
fuck. Like we've already been doing that a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Look, I only got into politics in like 2020, which I'm ashamed to admit.
Well, that's probably when
But
I
it
got
was
into them. Although I am
for
probably
sure.
younger, but
Yeah, no, you're definitely younger. I was stuck in that apathy of like the both sides, or I don't know. I didn't want to be an uninformed voter and feel complicit in participating in a system that did bad. Like if I made an uninformed choice, and I just also didn't put the time into like researching like what is the informed choice. I was
yeah.
like, oh, it's so much, and yeah, and then yeah, I whatever. I'm a biochemist. I specialize in genetics. I maybe worked for big pharma. But
So
yeah,
you
once the
paid
COVID shit
off.
hit, uh, yeah, I like turned on the TV like what's the president saying about this? And yeah, that's what got me into politics was being like, oh my god, what? Uh, but yeah, my Soros checks clear every week. Um, I'm trying to LARP and get Elon checks too, but
It hasn't worked so far.
a little bit harder. Or rather, I get the checks, but they're not worth nearly as much as people think they are.
Oh, sure. I can't get a. No one will pay me. Okay, Kamala Harris doesn't pay me the. I don't have a big TikTok presence, so they don't pay me like they do pay all the TikTok debaters.
Right?
Clearly.
Yeah. Listen,
Unfortunately.
I hear if you get in with Progressive Victory, like they're hiring streamers.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Apparently. Ah,
Well, well,
I
yeah.
feel like.
Yeah, as I said, I appreciate. So I don't know fuck all about economics. I mean, I know more than Melanie does, but like, like just the bare bones amount, and you have a lot of
Yeah.
more historical references. Like I was chatting with Flow State
Some.
like
Yeah.
2 nights ago, and like demolished him on every question he asked, but every question he asked, uh, th- this evening, I would not have had an answer to, but you did, and I love that for us,
Yeah.
because I hate that guy. Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
I like economics right now. I'm trying to read more on it. I don't know. I don't know a ton or anything, but like I like I have a like on tariffs I'm pretty good because like there's so many. First of all, if you just take an Econ 101 class, which I have, they explain to you exactly what tariffs are and how bad they are, and like so many like I think you saw me in the hippy dippy thing, right? Like it's like so many of these things can like easily be rebuked if you just have an understanding of like how what the it's called a balance of payments is. Like so many people are like, oh, your money's leaving the country, and if you just understand that dollars can
right,
only be spent in the U.S., which is actually pretty intuitive because like you can't
right,
pay you can't pay taxes in yen, so you're never going to accept yen. Um, it's like you understand like a trade deficit is just a capital account surplus. It means other countries are investing in us. And you can make the argument like when I was on the other panel, the guy was like, "Oh, the U.S. just has a bunch of bullshit jobs. None of it's real. It's all just paper pushing." The implication of having a trade deficit with like China is that China is giving us real goods and services. They're giving us like real, fuck it.
like
I'm sure
base
this Red
ingredients.
Bull, yeah, Red Bull came from China. I'm sure half my iPhone fucking came from China. They're giving us real things in exchange for basically claims to financial assets, whether it be stocks or bonds. And it's like, they own a lot of bonds. Like what would happen if the Federal Reserve tomorrow lost all of its records of who has bonds? Like, well, we would still all have the goods and services, right? I would still have my phone. China now has basically lost its claim to the bond. And like, what are they gonna do? It's like, well, they could fucking go to war. They're probably not getting their bond back still. But like, what? Yeah, it's wild.
Right, right. It's like yeah, like we've exported a lot of the base manufacturing out to other countries. So like yeah, like the batteries and the steel and like the like this part and that part, like come from different places. But like but even Teslas are like assembled here. It's like
Yeah,
like it's a fucking specialized economy. Like we let other people do the the mining and like the
yeah,
or
and
whatever.
yeah.
Not
Obviously,
not
like
not to
just
demean any
intuitively,
jobs because
we know
whatever.
that tariffs are going to hurt so many things. Like,
Yeah,
like manufacturers here import things for equipment and stuff. Like, they're going to be hurt by those tariffs, and then it exchange rates appreciate. It makes our currency more expensive. which does two things. It reduces exports because our currency is now more expensive for other currencies to buy, and two, increases imports because now our currency can buy more of other currencies, meaning that we import more. So the trade deficit is barely helped by tariff, and like we tariffs, and we can, an Econ 101 model can basically show this, and then like studies can back this up. Like the IMF did a big study, like over I think it's 151 countries over like 40 years, and they're like tariffs reduce productivity, they reduce output, they reduce employment, have very minimal effects on the trade deficit. And it's like I can cite a Econ 101 model. I can cite an empirical study, multiple empirical studies that show this actually, and they can't cite anything on their side.
Okay, sorry. This is like a kind of a major pivot, but these are the same type of people who are arguing that the best thing that we could do for America is like ban women from the workforce.
Yeah, it's wild,
because supply and demand, if we cut supply in half, like wages will double. It'll be good for the family.
We're deporting immigrants as well,
Yeah, well, both of those things. Ban women, deport immigrants, and then like only, straightest white passing men can get jobs, and then people will have more kids, which is good.
Yeah. It's all so much of like conservative misinformation on economics is like there's a few different biases people have, like zero-sum bias, which is just that people aren't inclined to see transaction as mutually beneficial. They view the economy as more like zero-sum, like someone wins and someone else is lose. There's anti-foreign bias. People are more likely to think that like we're losing in trade or whatever. They think foreign goods are worse than American-made goods. And then there's zero-sum anti-foreign, and there's anti-market bias. People are more likely to see themselves as like a victim of the market rather than like benefiting from a market transaction. And like tariffs, tariffs and like immigrants are like the perfect combination of like all these things. Immigrants win, we lose. Immigrants are foreigners and they're taking our jobs, and tariffs the same thing. And yeah, it's really good to know about those biases and to be able to point them out. It's all
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Illegal immigrants, the people who are stealing social security numbers, like paying income tax and sales tax and not having like any forms to get any of that back at all. Like they're, if any, and they're not eligible for benefits. So like, at worst, they're like a net zero or whatever. Like they're a net, like equal amount on the economics. But even like right-leaning economists agree that like they're probably paying more into the system than they're getting out of it.
Yeah, exactly. We can model this, and then we can empirically test it, and both of them are like on our side of this. Like clearly, we can see why immigrants, probably wouldn't really reduce wages, and then like we can look at empirical tests, and it's like, yeah, wow. And there was there's actually one really good study about this, which specifically looking at deportations, because Obama did do like deportations. There was some like secure communities deportation initiative. What was good about this is that they had a bunch of cities and they deported immigrants in some cities before other cities. So we could like, examine the effects of like this city deported immigrants at this time period compared to this comparable community that didn't deport immigrants. What were the effects on like employment and wages? And it's like, yeah, immigrants help native-born employment and they don't really hurt native-born wages. So this is like pretty securely found because like, immigrants work in like childcare that allows mothers to work. Immigrants work in construction that allow businesses to expand. Immigrants just have their own demand. They buy goods and services that supports local communities too. There's like all these mechanisms by which we can clearly see that like immigrants wouldn't really increase wages if deported, and then we can empirically examine it. This is exactly what happens.
Right. Or I will say, I will have to look up the source to send if you disagree, but like. There are some studies that do show that actually a high influx of low skill labor can have a negative impact in the short term on like low skill
basically
workers.
Like all the studies on immigrants and wages I've seen have this, where it's like high school dropouts wages drop like negative 2 percentage points, and like some other low skill workers have like slightly negative short term effects. But like I don't know, it doesn't seem like here's the thing is that like you could sort of make the argument for like native-born kids, right? Like clearly a native-born kid is gonna have, they're gonna increase the labor supply too. To some extent, they're gonna have downward pressure on wages, but like obviously You know, to be perfectly comparable, we'd have to have a massive influx in native-born kids. But like, immigrants are ready to work now, whereas native-born kids have to be like supported for 16 years, if not 18 years, if not more, by like state subsidies and their parents, you know, spending money on them to raise them. It's just not at all clear to me that like the negative effects of like immigrants coming here are somehow worse than like than if we just had more children. It's wild, yeah.
Well. That's the thing, is that like we're presuming a lot of stuff. You know, we're steel manning their side. But yeah, it's the idea is to keep them out and like make more kids here. Like both of those things are, you know, like well, what if, you know, our birth rate increased 1,000% under Trump?
Yeah, and we also like we have empirical studies like on this too. Like it's very hard to increase birth rates. Like South Korea pays people a ton of money to have kids, and they still don't have kids. They're still
yeah. You know, there's oh god, what is or whatever. This is an older example, but the directive. Oh god, it's a triple number. I don't remember what it is, but yeah, it's like a whatever. It was like a commie policy in the 60s that like
yeah.
trying to, you know, I don't know, government mandated birth rates basically, which got real weird. Fuck, sorry, I need to find the
Yeah, like they don't tend to work out very well, but
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, the all developed countries, the birth rate is just plummeting, and like, yeah, I don't know,
yeah,
maybe women want to have less kids, maybe men aren't doing well enough for women to want to have kids with them. Who knows?
You know, it's not because they want to. It's because actually the left has actually, you know, trans everyone. So there's no.
I think it's the microplastics.
The microplastics, yeah, and the semen, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, they filled my grandpa full of lead, or my grandpa full of asbestos, my dad full of lead, and me full of microplastics. And it's actually all the soy they're putting in the water.
Oh yeah, that too. Yep.
It's it's phytoestrogen, which, you know.
Well, actually, you know, don't worry, because soon we're gonna have RFK in charge of health, and I'm sure he's gonna make very reasonable decisions. He actually, like, I've seen him, like, he seems to have like okay past when he was like kind of a regular like environmental lawyer or whatever, but he's just like done so many, like, he made so many weird comments and done so many like weird insane things, and it's like this guy just seems like actually like cuckoo crazy. Like there's got to be like other people who are concerned about the same health concerns as he are, but don't have all this like crazy weird shit attached to it. Like,
you know, yeah, no, RFK is like the caricature of Fauci that the right presents.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm whatever. Whatever. You know, like, who needs measles vaccines anyway?
Exactly. I'm kind of upset that we're probably gonna not have Lena Khan anymore, who's the head of the FTC, who's done some of the antitrust stuff. She's probably gone too far in some cases. Like, I think there was I forget which airline specifically, but like there are cases where, like, you know, letting companies merge is not really a bad thing. For example, you know, like here's a good example. Cedar Fair and Six Flags are basically the only two like amusement park companies, okay? But they don't really directly compete with each other. Like, most people only have one park close to them. They're really just competing against other forms of entertainment. So like letting them merge is not necessarily bad because they're not in direct competition with each other. There's a similar case with like budget airlines. It's like these budget airlines, I think it was like Spirit or JetBlue or something, you know, they're not so much in competition with each other as they are in competition with the bigger airlines. So if you let them merge, they could actually compete better against the bigger airlines than they could on their own, and you actually enhance market competition rather than decrease it. There are cases like that exist, but I think overall she's done a really, really good job at like some of the antitrust stuff, and like the the McDonald's ice cream machines are fixed because of Joe Biden. Okay, we got one click to cancel like subscription services because of Biden and Lena Khan, and they don't appreciate them. They don't appreciate him.
Well, all that stuff was Trump policies, like existing conditions and price
Right,
caps
right.
on insulin.
Oh, yep, yep, yeah, that
Yeah,
too. Yeah,
all of that was actually the
yeah.
right's
Biden
idea.
just took credit for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's yeah, it's wild. I don't know how to stay sane talking to some of these people, but
Yeah, no, I don't know.
yeah. But what do
It
you
feels
do? You do the same thing? You hop around some of these panels from time to time and just
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time on Discord, a lot of time just like reading research in my free time, and I don't know, like literally within the past like month maybe I've been like I spend like 10 to 12 hours reading research a week already. Like, why not stream it?
yeah,
But yeah, try to hop on panels and just like I don't know.
yeah, it
Most
makes
people
sense.
have like don't read more than headlines, so it's really easy to you know
Yeah, exactly.
to have a
Yeah.
response to that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you just like follow the right people on Twitter, like for econ stuff, there's so many like claims people make. Like JD Vance made this claim about like the 7H prime age men have dropped out of the workforce. And it's like if you just follow the right people on Twitter who actually understand economics, they immediately just can retort like, just break it. Just the majority of these people are sick or disabled. Only like
Right.
680,000 of those people who aren't working because they couldn't find a job, and those are the only people we really care about. And then like yeah, if you just like if you don't just read like media articles or just even media headlines and just like actually read like a just like go to like even like think tanks, even like go to the tax foundation, like the tax foundation like has breakdowns of like what tariffs are. If you just do that, like you'll you'll be able to epically own a lot of people because they just don't read enough.
Right. Yeah, and I'm like I'm trying to remain
Oh
hopeful,
shit,
but
I
like
can't hear
I'm
you, but it's
thinking
probably
about
on my
how
end because your
easy it
thing's
is to
lighting green.
access all the information, but also like looking at like I don't know if you've seen the meme of like the Google search trends of like where's Joe Biden like
Yeah,
near election day of like I'm like what like Kamala's running instead. I'm
yeah, people,
confused.
yeah, and
Yeah,
everyone
so
googling
yeah,
how to
no,
vote, who's
I'm
running, like,
right. Yeah, no, that's yeah, and I live in a swing state, so I got to watch
yeah. Oh
I got to
boy,
watch
which swing
stuff
state
like
do you say?
or yeah. I live near or I live in West Michigan, which is where Pfizer's global manufacturing headquarters is. Uh,
Damn, so
I'm not
they're
associated with
putting
Pfizer at all.
so much fluoride and so much soy in your water, man.
Yeah.
Man, I remember on election night, I'm in North Carolina, and I was really hoping North Carolina went blue. I was expecting it to go blue because you probably saw our Republican governor here, Mark Robinson, is literally fucking insane. Hates trans people, hates gay people, also watches trans porn and calls himself a black Nazi, and also supports abortion, no exceptions, except when he got an abortion, and then he apologized for getting that abortion, and then he went back on that apology and said, actually, I'm in favor of exceptions to abortions. I'm going to take credit for the abortion that I apologized for previously. Literally insane. Women absolutely hate him. Most people here absolutely hate him too. I was expecting Kamala to win here just because I didn't expect so many people to split their ticket. I thought, no way, so many people vote for our Democratic governor, but still vote for Trump. And I was so wrong. And I remember when NC was called like at 10:30 or something, and I was like the first one of my friends to start dooming. I was like, it's over. It's over. Georgia had been called, North Carolina had been called, and I was like, it's over. It's over. I'm dooming. I'm moving the Czechoslovakia. It's over.
Right. I also started dooming early, but also like they didn't call Michigan for a while, and like we were ahead by a good
Sure.
amount for a while, and I was like, like maybe we lost, but like maybe it won't be as bad as
Yeah.
I think it'll be. Uh, it's like like it's the it's the same map as or it's the same map or slightly worse than 2016, and like I don't know, like I think I'm gonna go on my misogyny arc, like just no more women, like
No
on the
more. Yeah,
Democratic
exactly.
ticket
Who thought it
until
was a good idea
Republicans.
to vote a black woman in America? What the heck? What the heck?
Right,
Who?
right, yeah. They'll be into letting a black woman run or an Indian woman run before a white woman for sure. It'll be fine. It'll be.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, again, don't know why she did so poorly. I didn't expect it. Listen, my prediction had Kamala winning before the election. I had her winning every swing state except for Arizona and Georgia. That prediction obviously not go well. Listen, maybe she'll. I don't think Nevada's called yet. Okay, Nevada takes a while to count their ballots. Okay, maybe she gets Nevada. Maybe. I hope. Okay. Obviously that doesn't matter, but listen, Pennsylvania can.
I mean,
still
it
flip.
does.
They're still
It
out,
does to
they're
me.
Still
Like
outstanding ballots. Okay?
if we can lose less bad, that would be nice.
Yeah, that would be.
But yeah,
We just
but I
got-
mean,
'cause,
I
listen,
think Nevada is like the one state that like went blue for Hillary too, compared to Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona.
So we got it. So it's in the bag, okay? It's in the bag. We just got to figure out how to flip Pennsylvania, okay? There's still outstanding ballots. If we just scan them a few times, okay, we can still win this.
Just
Pennsylvania
run
will
it,
flip it. Like it took Biden
Listen,
like
there's-
5
there
days
can be
to
a
win
gas
Pennsylvania.
main leak.
Yeah. There's the bomb.
No,
threats in
Trump was
Russia,
like
okay.
tweeting at some about how some wonky shit was going on in Philadelphia. So I think we need
yeah.
to
And then like once he
do
wins,
a big hard recount there. I think Al Gore should
wild.
be president next. Actually, like if
He
we're gonna
should,
follow the
exactly.
rules, like we owe him.
Isn't he like literally the same age as Trump or whatever? He could run. He could do it.
I mean,
He's 76. So that's 2 years younger than Trump, right? Isn't Trump 78?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, running Trump is basically like elder abuse. Like the fact they put him up there is just it's fucked up.
Oh boy, it'll be good stream
Yeah.
content at least sometimes. I actually
Yeah.
don't know. I've never been a political streamer. After an election because I just started like streaming like 6 months ago or 7 months ago now I think. So I really don't. It'll be interesting to see what conversations come up from now until when Trump's inaugurated. Once Trump's inaugurated, I'm sure there'll be like discussions of like, should Trump have done X? Trump is doing Y. This is completely insane. But from now until the inauguration, I really don't know exactly what the conversations will be. So,
I wouldn't normally advocate for this, but I'm like borderline feeling accelerationist. Just like I don't know. Maybe Biden should just hit the big red button on Russia like on his way out, like just for the memes. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm just mad.
exactly.
Maybe I'm just coping. Maybe he
He
would have
is
won.
at least. I know he's giving he's trying to spend all of the money that has been appropriated to Ukraine before Trump gets into office because he thinks Trump is probably just gonna abandon Ukraine.
Bro, like
which
what
we'll
if
see, I don't know.
what if January 26th Putin withdraws all forces from Ukraine, like including Crimea, like just to troll the lid. like how much of our population will be used in a day of just like fuck.
Yeah. Oh man. I don't know. We'll I'm not entirely. I think Trump is still considering like Mike Pompeo, I think his name is, for like Secretary of Defense, who's like really hawkish on Ukraine. Like his quote unquote Ukraine peace deal is actually kind of base. It's literally like give Ukraine infinite money forever, which based correct opinion there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really you know what I also hate. Okay, I don't think we lost because of single issue Gaza voters or anything. But like,
No.
there's in my opinion, there's a good chance that Palestinians never get a state now simply because Bibi tries to annex the West Bank and Trump just says, oh, okay, that's chill. You can just take most of the West Bank. Like, I think there's a decent chance that happens, and that just totally fucks over like any possibility of a state happening there at all. Yeah, it's not ideal.
Yeah. Or rather from the like 2 exit polls that I've seen, like 70% of the Muslim vote went to Harris. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't single issue Gaza voters that voted against her. Yeah, I don't know. I think from what I've seen, the youth vote like really fucked her. So I blame Hassan Piker, obviously.
It is Hassan's fault. It is.
Yeah.
But listen,
Yeah,
maybe we'll get him in front of Congress now. Okay, the Republican Congress, the Republican.
Yeah. Whatever. I don't. I mean, I think he has a way out of that. Like, whatever. It's so. Yeah. Republican Congress, House,
Yeah, it's wild,
Supreme
but
Court.
it doesn't even matter if we get a Republican House. Oh, it does matter a little bit, okay? Like if we get a Republican House, it's like we can stop some like the most extreme shit from happening. But like it doesn't even like the House has subpoena power, okay? So the House can subpoena President Trump, but like if they don't comply, Trump's just gonna pardon anyone who doesn't comply. He's already done this.
Yeah.
It's meaningless, and it's
Right.
criminal immunity.
Yeah.
You can
And
just
they
say
can't-
like.
Right. And I would love to see them try to subpoena anyone in the executive office with the Supreme Court that's leaning so hard
Exactly.
into like the unitary theory. And,
Yeah.
like, well,
it is
actually,
yep.
it's official act. So
And that's going to be. I'm also the Federal Reserve. I think is probably the institution that's safest when it comes to like can it be corrupted by Trump? But like Trump does not like Jerome Powell. Trump probably doesn't have the legal authority to fire him. Probably Powell doesn't think so. Powell said today, like, you know, if Trump asked you to, they asked like if Trump asked you to step down, would you? And he's like, no. And they were like, do you think he can fire you? And he was like, no. But who knows? The Supreme Court might just be like, yeah, actually, full unitary executive theory. The chairman of the Federal Reserve has to be obedient to Trump, and Trump can just fire him whenever he wants. Right. If that happens, I need to see some apologies from people when we reach 5% inflation because Trump is, you know, making the central bank lower interest rates. But that's not going to happen, even if they're not going to apologize, obviously, even if it happens. So
right. And like. It might not even happen under Trump. Like he might just, you know, I don't know, cause some ripples that allow like the next person
sure.
who actually is competent and knows what they're doing to go through with it. Which again is why I'm like maybe accelerationism, maybe pardon literally every criminal. Like I don't know. What's the worst that could happen? Would it be worse than what? I don't know. I guess I also feel like it's 50-50 that like Trump is like hardcore dictator or Trump is like just chill. He's like, yeah, I won and I don't care about anything else. I'm a winner. I won the popular vote, and he doesn't do anything. He literally just chills for 4 years and does it.
I mean, yeah,
literally
I don't know.
nothing.
I think a big reason he ran was probably just he wanted his cases to fucking go away, and now
Right.
that's probably gonna happen. Like, yeah, maybe it'll just be like, you know, I can just pardon myself for anything now. Yeah.
Yep.
Which, you know, that'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see. You know, I don't think he'll do it because Jack Smith is just gonna give up. Which, like, I mean, rightly so. Basically, his choices are basically give up and write a report about all the evidence against Trump, or just be fired by Trump and never get to write a report about all the evidence about him. So I think he's making the right decision if he ends up resigning before Trump even gets into office. But it's depressing.
I don't know. His revised indictment was so good. He was just like presented 90% the same thing and was like, actually, most of this isn't official acts for sure.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, that's bold.
It's obviously like it's like, you know, so many things that are like, you know, pressuring state election officials. It's like, okay, well, obviously the president has literally no role in state elections. Like he's not using the White House counsel lawyers. He's using his personal lawyers. Like clearly this is not a official act phone call.
Well, states' rights win abortion and not the election though.
Yeah, but not the election. Yeah, they have to, you know, throw out all the fake votes in Fulton County. They don't get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Right.
Hassan acts like he's pro-Gaza, but he's not pro-Gaza. It was the last thing on his mind when he started to try to promote anti-Harris. True. I don't know if Hassan has. I don't. Did Hassan vote for Harris?
No. Hassan endorsed writing in Biden.
I wrote in Biden, kind of. I did. We had like a local election here that was for, you know, my county soil and water district supervisor. It was uncontested, but they did let you write in. So I did write in my man Joe Biden. Great retirement job for him. He can come down and just supervise the soil and water, whatever that means.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that would be a good retirement plan for him. Put him out on the pasture.
Yeah. Okay, well, I gotta go edit the panels I did. But you seem cool. You seem chill. You seem intelligent.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure I'll see you.
Yeah. I had maybe 101 IQ tops, at least. But yeah.
Well,
yeah,
conservatives are like 75 IQ at most. So like, it's
right. Mostly room temperature in centigrade. But yeah. But yeah, good job. Appreciate you being a good advocate online, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for stopping by. Goodbye. If you want to chat with me live, sub here or go to Nonfon420 on Twitch or Kick via the links below. Once again, please like and sub to help with the algorithm, and consider sending a donation through YouTube Super Thanks to directly support me, and I'll make sure to reply to any question you ask. See you guys next time.